You're trying to live the right way, so why does your heart still feel heavy? Maybe it's a message you almost sent, in anger. Maybe it's a shortcut you were about to take because you're tired. In this video, I'll give you one simple pause and one question that can stop you before you slip. Stay with me to the end, just to let something soften inside you. All right, let's begin together. Tonight, if you're listening to this, you may not be a bad person. You're just tired. Tired from carrying responsibility, tired from money worries, tired from having to look okay. And sometimes that tiredness pushes us right up to the edge of whatever, the edge of no one will know, the edge of a small wrong thing, small, but heavy enough to weigh on the heart. Stay with me to the end, just to let something soften inside you, just to keep one clear moment for yourself. I remember a very ordinary story, a delivery driver, out in the sun all day running non-stop. A customer paid in cash. He gave the change, then turned and walked away. After a few dozen steps, he suddenly stopped, because he had given back too little. Not a big amount, just a small bill. And in that loud, crowded street, no one called him back. No one chased him. No one knew. But someone knew. Him. He stood still for a few seconds, eyes dropping to his own hand. And the strange thing wasn't, "I'm afraid of getting caught." The strange thing was, his chest got hot, his breathing got short, and in his mind a very small sentence appeared, "You're doing something wrong." It didn't shout, it just stayed there, quiet, calm. And because it was calm, it was even harder to run from. He turned around, knocked on the door, said he was sorry, and handed back the right amount. The customer looked at him and smiled. "Oh, it's nothing, don't worry about it." But he still gave it back. Not to be praised, not to look like a good person to anyone, but because in that moment, he understood something. The most expensive cost of doing wrong isn't losing your reputation. It's losing your own peace. In the Buddha's teaching, some things sound strict at first, but they are actually very kind. The Buddha didn't teach us to keep precepts to trap us. He taught us to keep precepts so we can feel light. Because when we do something that goes against our conscience, the mind gets a mark. No one can see that mark, but we live with it. We bring it into our meals. We bring it into our conversations. We bring it into our sleep. Have you ever been like that? During the day, you still smile, you still work, you still reply to messages, but at night, when you lie down, your mind starts running. Not because of work, but because there's a corner inside you don't want to look at. Something you did, something you said, a tiny bend of the truth. And strangely, the more you try to forget it, the more it returns. Many people think, it's a small mistake, what's the big deal? But the mind doesn't measure wrong by size. The mind measures wrong by weight. Some mistakes don't cost you money, but they cost you self-respect. Some moments don't clearly hurt anyone, yet they make you look at yourself with a little less warmth. That's where the Buddha's teaching is so realistic. When you live honestly, you don't have to remember. You don't have to hide. You don't have to build a new story to cover the old one. You get to breathe like someone who doesn't need to defend himself. But when you drift off course, even a little, you start to tighten inside. You start to worry. You start to suspect others. And sometimes, you struggle to forgive anyone because you're not at peace with yourself. Long ago, the Buddha spoke about something very beautiful in a human being, the ability to feel ashamed of what is wrong and the fear of the consequences of wrongdoing. It sounds like fear, but it's actually two guardians standing at the gate of peace. Because when you still feel that inner hesitation, you can stop in time. When you still remember cause and effect, you don't slip too far. But if you lose those two guardians, you might become smarter in the world, and yet your heart will suffer more. And ordinary self-training, real, everyday practice, is simply keeping those two guardians alive. Keeping your body from doing wrong doesn't mean you become rigid. It doesn't mean you must be perfect. It only means this: before your hand acts, before your feet step forward, before you close your eyes and let it slide, you pause for one breath, and you ask your heart one simple question: will this make my heart feel heavy? If the answer is yes, even just a little, then you already have a lamp. You already have a way back. But I understand, life isn't simple. There are times you know better and still you slip. Not because you're cruel, but because you're tired. Because you're not fully awake. Because pressure pushes you forward. Or because you've repeated, "It's just a small thing," for too long. So next, we'll go straight to the most important point. Why do good people still do wrong? And how can you pause in a real, practical way before your heart gets heavy one more time? Stay with me. In the first part, I shared something very real. Some wrong things are small, but their shadow can be long. And now I want to go straight to the most important question. Why is it that someone gentle, someone kind, someone who truly doesn't want to hurt anyone, can still end up doing something wrong? You may have blamed yourself like this: I'm not a bad person, so why did I do that? Why did I let my mouth slip? Why did I get a little greedy? Why did I take the shortcut? If you've ever thought that way, you're already looking in the right direction. Because in Buddhism, wrong is not only sin. Wrong is a sign that a strong wind is moving inside you. The wind of exhaustion and the wind of fear. The wind of pressure and the wind of habit. And when the wind is strong, the lamp of mindfulness can easily shake. There's an everyday story I think many people will recognize. A man works hard. His salary is just enough. At home, there are many bills. At the end of the month, his boss says they need to push the numbers. Just change one small figure, just a little, to make the report look nicer, to keep things smooth. He hesitates. Inside him, there are two voices. One voice is gentle. Don't do it. It's not right. The other voice is tired. Whatever. I'm just an employee. If I don't do it, I'll lose my job. And if I lose my job, how will my family live? Do you see? The wrongdoing here didn't begin with big greed. It began with fear. Fear of not having enough. Fear of losing. Fear of not being able to provide for the people he loves. In the Buddhist teaching, greed, anger, and ignorance are not monsters outside of you. They are very human currents. Greed is sometimes just the fear of lacking. Anger is sometimes the pain of not being understood. Ignorance is sometimes the fog that appears when the mind is too tired. And when the mind is tired, we don't choose with wisdom. We choose with reflex. That's why good people can still do wrong, not because they want to, but because they don't have a pause. In Buddhism, that pause is called mindfulness. But if mindfulness feels too abstract, it becomes hard to use. So let me say it in a simple, everyday way. Mindfulness is the moment you can recognize, I'm being pulled by anger, pulled by fear, pulled by craving, pulled by ego. And the moment you recognize it, you've already stopped, even if only a little. Let me tell you another story. A woman sells online. She's hardworking, she's responsible, but competition is intense. Every day someone undercuts her price. Someone talks badly about her. Someone criticizes her products. One day she gets upset, really upset. She wants to write a post to teach them a lesson. Just one post, just to feel satisfied. Her hand is already on the keyboard. But right before she hits post, her eyes turn to the side. Her child is sitting there, studying, and looking at her. That look wasn't blaming. It was simply a look that was learning. In 1 second, she saw clearly, if I post this, my child will learn to use anger to handle life. She shut the laptop. She didn't win against that person, but she won against her own surge. And that night, she slept peacefully. Do you see? She's still an ordinary person. She still gets angry. She still gets irritated, She still wants to strike back, but she had one thing, a moment of clarity. The Buddha taught that karma isn't only created by big actions. Karma is created by the mind that leads the action. When the mind is angry, the action can become a knife. When the mind is greedy, the action can become a thief. When the mind is confused, the action can become getting lost. So if you want to train yourself, the key point is not, "I swear I will never be wrong again." The key point is this: you must know when you are most likely to slip. Many people don't slip when they feel strong. They slip when they are tired. They slip when they are lonely, when they feel cornered, when they feel they're losing, when they want to prove they're right. In Buddhism, this is called a gateway where karma enters. You don't need the terms, just remember the question: when do I slip the most? When I'm hot, when I'm hungry, when I'm sleep deprived, when money pressure is heavy, when my pride gets touched. If you recognize your gateway, you'll know how to protect yourself. And here is something very Buddhist and very practical. Don't wait until you do wrong to ask for forgiveness. Ask for forgiveness right at the moment you're about to slip. Forgiveness from whom? From yourself. You simply say, quietly, "Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm being pulled. Oh, this is my gateway." Just those 3 sentences, and the mind slows down by 1 beat. And when it slows down, you regain the right to choose. You start to see the road. But I know, sometimes you recognize it, and it's still hard to stop. Because habits are strong. Because life pushes. Because you've said, "It's just a small thing," for many years. So next, I'll give you a very concrete way, simple to do, to pause before you slip. Not theory, a short process, just a few steps, but it can save you from one impulsive moment and from a whole night of a heavy heart. Stay with me. In the second part, I told you something very real. Good people can still do wrong, not because they want to, but because they get pulled. Pulled by exhaustion, pulled by fear, pulled by habit, pulled by ego. So in this part, I won't add more theory. I only want to give you something practical, something ordinary, something you can actually use to pause before you slip. Because sometimes you don't need to become a better person. You only need the right pause at the right time. Let me tell you a small story. A man runs a small business. That day, a customer places a big order. If he tells the truth, the profit is small. If he exaggerates a little, the profit is bigger. Just a few extra lines, a little polish, and the deal is closed. He holds his phone. His finger scrolls on the screen. His heart is impatient. In his mind, he can already hear the money. But right then, he remembers something. Last year, he exaggerated once before. The customer believed him. Then the product didn't meet expectations. The customer didn't yell. They just quietly walked away. And what he lost wasn't only a customer. What he lost was that feeling of, "I don't have a steady hand anymore," when he looked at himself. He stands up and walks out to the balcony, not to perform, just to stop. He takes one deep breath, and he asks himself one question. Will I sleep peacefully tonight if I say this? That question is like a break. It doesn't make him a saint, it just makes him awake. He walks back inside. He messages the customer, "Let me be honest, this is what it really is. This is the real quality. This is the real price. If you want it, I'll deliver. If not, I understand." And the customer still buys. Not because he was clever, but because he was real. And that night, he slept peacefully. Do you see? Self-training is not always something big. Sometimes it is simply knowing how to stop at the right moment. There's something beautiful in Buddhism. The Buddha didn't teach us only to hold back. He taught us to see the mind that is about to slip, to see the hand that is about to act, to see the mouth that is about to speak. And the moment you can see, there is already light. And when there is light, darkness doesn't have the same power anymore. Now I want to give you a very short practice. You can use it in any situation. When you're about to say something you'll regret. When you're about to lie. When you're about to do something you know is not right. When you're about to take the shortcut. I call it pause, breathe, ask, choose. It sounds simple, but if you truly do it, it can save many heavy nights. Pause. Pause your body first. You don't need to pause your whole life. Just one beat. Stop your hand before you hit send. Stop your feet before you walk into a place you'll regret. Stop your mouth before you speak a sentence that hurts. In practice, the body moves before the mind. When the body pauses, the mind has a chance to come back. Breathe. One deep breath. Don't underestimate a single breath. A breath is an anchor. When you breathe deeply, you pull yourself out of the wave of reflex. You're no longer driven 100% by emotion. Just one breath, and your mind runs less. Your chest burns less. Ask. This is the most important step. Ask a very ordinary question. Will this make my heart feel heavy? Or, will I be at peace tonight? And if you want a more Buddhist question, ask, is this coming from greed, anger, or fear? Do I want to be right, or do I want to be kind? The moment you ask, you move from being pulled to seeing. Choose. Choose the option with the least regret. Not the option with the most benefit. Not the option that wins fastest, but the option that helps you keep your respect for yourself. Sometimes you choose silence. Sometimes you choose truth. Sometimes you step outside for 1 minute, then return. Sometimes you apologize right away. Sometimes you return something that isn't yours. And after you choose, something strange happens. The air inside you feels lighter, not because life becomes easier, but because you're no longer fighting yourself. Let me tell you one more story, very close to home. A young woman has a quick temper. When she's angry, she sends long messages, sharp messages, and afterward, she regrets it. One time, she's about to send another one. Her finger shakes, her eyes sting. In her mind, there's only one thought, I'll show them. But she remembers those 4 words, pause, breathe, ask, choose. She puts the phone down. She washes her face. She breathes. Then she asks, if I send this, will I feel lighter? Or will I feel relief for 1 moment and then heaviness for a whole week? She doesn't send it. The next morning, she sends a different message. Last night I was angry. I'm sorry. I want to talk again, properly. The relationship isn't perfect, but she created less karma with her speech, and her body stopped running after her anger. That is self-training, real, ordinary. In the Buddhist teaching, keeping precepts is not to look right in front of the world. It is to keep peace inside your own heart. Because when you don't do wrong, you don't need to defend yourself. You don't need a mask. You can look into someone's eyes, and you can look into your own heart. But many people still get stuck on one question. If I live honestly, will I lose? If I don't do wrong but others do, then what? If life is unfair, then what? So next, I'll share the last and most important thing. Why living upright doesn't take happiness away from you, but is actually the shortest road to a lighter heart. Stay with me. In the last part, I gave you something very concrete. Pause, breathe, ask, choose. But now, I know there may still be a question in your heart. A very real, everyday question. If I live honestly, will I lose? If I don't do wrong but other people do, and they benefit more, then what? Life isn't fair, so why live upright at all? You know, that question isn't wrong. It only shows that you're living in real life, not inside a lecture. And the Buddha never taught in a way that was far from life. He taught very directly. Happiness and suffering both have causes. Where there is a cause, there is an effect. But cause and effect don't always arrive immediately. So people think, I did wrong and nothing happened. Or, I did right and I still suffered. It's just this. The consequences in the mind come sooner, and the consequences in the world often come later. Let me say it more clearly. When you do wrong, you may gain something right away. More money, faster results, an easier path. But you lose something quietly. You lose your own peace. And when you live upright, you may be slower. You may lose a little. You may be misunderstood. You may not seem as smart as others. But you keep something precious. You keep a clean gaze when you look into the mirror. And that is the root of peace. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who sold breakfast. Every day he woke up early. It was hard work and the profit wasn't much. People taught him a way to earn more. Give a little less meat, a little less topping. No one will notice, they said. The customers are busy. Everyone is rushing. He listened. He stayed quiet. Then he said one simple sentence. If I do that, I won't enjoy my own meal. People laughed. You're too kind. In this world, you have to be clever. He didn't argue. He kept selling the same way, full portions, honest food. At first, he didn't get rich. Life was still hard. But something happened that he didn't calculate. Customers came back. Not because he spoke well. They came back because after eating, their hearts trusted him. Then they brought their family. Then the shop slowly grew. Do you see? Honesty is not stupid. Honesty is a kind of credibility. And in this life, credibility is a form of capital that lasts. In Buddhism, this is called merit, blessing. Not something mystical. Blessing is the foundation that makes life easier to breathe. When you live upright, you plant a strange seed, the seed of inner safety. And inner safety is a result that comes quickly. How quickly? Through sleep. Have you noticed? Many people can't sleep, not because of work, but because something inside them isn't clean. They lie down and their mind keeps running. They fear someone will find out. They fear the price they might pay. They fear losing their image. They fear karma. But the person who lives upright, life may still be difficult, yet at night there is a place to rest. They don't have to run from themselves. And there is one more thing, very important. Living upright is not for the world to praise you. Living upright is so your mind doesn't tear. Because every time we do wrong, the mind tears a little. Every time we bend things, we build another layer. Every time we lie, we must remember what we said. Every time we do what isn't right, we begin to live on guard. And being on guard makes us tired. Tired makes us quick to anger. Anger makes us speak wrong again. And that cycle repeats. The Buddha called it a kind of samsara, a revolving habit. It doesn't need a next life. It happens right now. But when you live upright, you cut that loop. You don't need extra layers. You don't need to remember what to hide. You can breathe. And that breathing is freedom. Let me tell you one more story, close to family. A mother came home from the market and realized the seller had weighed short. Not by much. If she made a scene, she would win a little money. But she could also embarrass that person and teach her child to fight the world over small victories. She paused. She looked at the seller and said softly, "Could you weigh it again for me? I don't want to go home with a heavy heart." The seller blushed, weighed it again, apologized. On the way home, the child asked, "Why didn't you yell, Mom?" She said, "Yell for what? I only need to be right, and I want you to grow up with a gentle heart." Do you see? Living upright is not only protecting yourself, it is also teaching others through the way you live. That is a kind of practice, deep and very ordinary. And now, I want you to keep one final line. If you're afraid of losing, remember this. Some gains are bought with anxiety, and that kind of gain is not worth it. And some losses protect peace, and that kind of loss is cheap. Tonight, before you sleep, try one small thing. Place your hand on your chest. Take a breath that is deep enough and whisper, "Tomorrow may be hard, but tonight I choose to live upright so my heart can feel light." If you've stayed with me to this moment, Thank you for being here. If a sentence touched you gently, leave me a comment or tap like just so I know you're here with me. And if you want a few quiet minutes of peace like this each day, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Stay with me to the end, just to let something soften inside you, just to keep one clear moment for yourself. I wish you a peaceful sleep, and tomorrow, a slightly lighter heart.
From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for supporting Buddha's loving words. May the teachings of the Buddha continue to touch every heart, bringing peace and happiness.